What's up, y'all? This is Jay Floyd from Jay Floyd Speaks Life, author, motivational speaker, life coach, man. Life coach. Shout out to all of my life coaching clients, man. I love y'all. Y'all been doing the work, man. Y'all been putting in that work, and I admire that. I take my hat off to you. The work that y'all do is hard, man. And to all of my future clients, anybody who wants to hit me up, man, let's do this. Let's put in that work. That's what we all are here to do. You know, my ministry, my books, my speaking, anytime you hear me opening my mouth in front of people, you go hear my message about healing and adults learning to heal. You know, I know we have a different set of rules in previous generations, but, you know, right now, what's very important is emotional intelligence, learning how to love one another, learning how to care about one another, reaching out and seeing what a person is feeling and going through. Suicide is at an all-time high. Our children are feeling distant from us. You know, I don't care, you know, where you're at, what group you're in, what stereotype it fits. You need emotional intelligence, and you need to understand not only what other people are going through, but what you're going through. You need a clear vision. And sometimes it takes people, almost every time, it takes people to kind of help you through that journey, to figure out what do you have going on, what's the journey you got, you know, what's the struggle that you have. Nothing wrong with struggle. Anything great. If you are watching this right now and you feel that your life has greatness in it, trust and believe that it's going to be struggle to get to that greatness. Anything that's born takes labor. Labor pains. Labor, pain, blood. That's what it's going to take, man. Tears. If you want greatness, you got to go do that work, man. So I shout out to everybody that's on that journey, whether you got me as a life coach or any of my colleagues or anybody else, man, or if you just on that journey, man. That's what's up. Shout out to my Kaepernick cup, man. I made this with me and my daughters, man. We had, you know, ceramic day. Me and my wife and my kids made our own cups, man. So listen, today I just wanted to come talk, man. You know, this is not one of those videos you'll see from a speaker or a life coach where it's like, I got it all figured out, or let me give you some kind of trick, you know, that's going to emotionally make you giddy for a few minutes. You know, I just want to come talk because I think that part of life and part of what's vital in life is that we learn from one another, that we challenge each other, we grow, right? So one of the things that's been on my heart today, I was sitting down doing some research, you know, for my next book, doing some research, you know, trying to flesh it out, making sure my concepts are sound. And I came across this scientific journal. Now, I know I don't usually touch on a lot of strictly scientific things, but this particular article really hit me, and I thought it was worth discussion. So let me get, the headline says, scientists have observed epigenetic memories being passed down for 14 generations. Woo! Now listen, now to everybody, if you like me and you do not have a degree in this type of stuff, what does epigenetic mean? Come on, man. I ain't know either. But look, we can piece it together. We don't need to, you know, we don't need to call up our cousin who went to so-and-so college. We can piece this together, right? You work your way through it. Genetic, we understand that that's talking about your genes, your DNA structure, things that are passed down to you. And epi, which is the first, there's the prefix in certain words like epicenter and epidemic. So I know we're talking about the center of, right? The center of where things come from, where, you know, where things originate from, right? So it come out from one center, right? That's the picture I'm gonna paint with it. Epigenetic. So from the source genes, you can see things come out. So it says scientists have observed epigenetic memories being passed down for 14 generations. Now, I'm just gonna kind of, you know, sum this up a little paraphrasing. But what they did was they worked with these worms, right? Nematode worms, which have a genetic trait that they have a fluorescence. So if you shine a ultraviolet light on them, they glow. That's just a trait in them. You know what I mean? There's some traits in black folks. There's some traits in, whatever it is, man. There's some traits that you got from where you came from that if shining in the right light, some things is going to happen, right? Okay. Let's keep going with this. So they wanted to find out what environment effects, what kind of environmental effects can change this DNA trait, right? So they found that if they took them and they moved them to a colder climate, they took it down to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, the glow went away. Yeah. So they changed the environment. They made it cold, and the glow, they barely glowed. So the trait was still there, but it wasn't exhibiting itself. Wasn't showing up right. So one of the things they did, they were like, okay, maybe it's the temperature. So they took it and they're like, well, let's boost the temperature up. Let's get it back up to 77 degrees Fahrenheit. And guess what? Boom, start glowing like a mug, right? Hey, I know that ain't scientific, glowing like a mug, but they even said it. They suddenly lit up like wormy Christmas trees. Same thing, glowing like a mug. You know what I'm saying? So the fluorescent gene was still there, and the temperature shift made it become more active. They started glowing. Now, then they took them and they moved them back to a colder temperature just to see what would happen. Like maybe it'd be off or on switch, right? No, they kept glowing. Now it says here, they continued to glow brightly, suggesting that they were retaining an environmental memory of the warmer climate. It makes me think about some things in our life and in our culture, but I'm gonna keep going so we can wrap it up. It says furthermore, the memory was passed on to their offspring for 7 brightly glowing generations, none of whom had experienced the warm temperature. The babies inherited that glow, that change. Because remember, they had the trait, but it didn't glow naturally. It didn't glow till you put them in a warmer temperature. Now the children just inherently glow. So then they took it and they said, okay, well, how far can we go with this, right? So they said they banished the offspring to the colder temperature, never put them back in the warmer. Man, we could touch on that a little bit too, but look, never took the children back home. But guess what? They said the worms continued to have the activity of glowing for 14 generations. 14. Now look, there's a couple of things that we could take from that. And like I said, I didn't open this video up so that I could come in here and do some kind of magic trick and be like, you know how the speakers and, some pastors do, and they be, watch this. Ain't no watch this. Ain't no watch this. What I want to know is, I want our brains to activate on this, right? Ponder on what I just said. I'm pondering on it, right? It gives me the thought of 2 things. I look at it, a positive and a negative. When I make an allegory of the positive, first thing that comes to mind is, where we come from. And by we, I mean we. You know what I mean? Like I can say from where we were created from. We're in a fallen world, separated from our Creator. But that glow is still in us. We can't touch God firsthand, but the glow is still in us. Even if you shut down the right environment, you could be born in the hood, no lights, no gas, no food, but the glow is still in us. Or I could look at it like this. You look at where we come from, right? You look at Africa, you could take us away from that, rip our families apart, shred our culture, our religion, our worship, take everything from us, beat us down to a pulp, and the glow's still there. The Africa glow still there. You still turn on the beats and you hear that drum like, we still got the drum beating in our heart. You can look at it that way. Yeah, I'm feeling both of those, Yeah. Now, there's also a flip side. There's a flip side because, like I said, if I bring blackness into this, and blackness is not the entirety of our existence. We are created by a great creator that spans all colors and limitations. But if I look at just the blackness part, right? Look at the experience part, which is in us. The experience, that pain, that slavery, our grandparents shredded and ripped apart, man. Diseases implanted in us, man. High blood pressure, diabetes, sugar. You know what I'm saying? We all come from that. We may not have experienced slavery. We ain't experienced that temperature, but the glow's still in us. That pain's still in us. So I do have a responsibility to try to heal myself. I do have a responsibility to myself and my purpose to dig in my heart and say, how is this affecting me? Right? How is it affecting me? How can I grow? And I'm not going to stick with the can't teach all dog new tricks, or that's just how we do. Now, we're going to pull up in the it ran in my family till it ran into me school of thought, you know? So right now, man, like I said, let's ponder on that, man. As adults, part of our responsibility is to just challenge ourselves. Life is all about challenge. It's not about comfort. It ain't about just going and doing what you want to do. It's about challenging yourself, man, to get better. Give honor back to God. He woke us up this morning. There's hundreds of miracles that went on in my body, man, just to have my eyeballs moistened enough to open. You know what I mean? To have my lungs be able to receive air. The number of miracles to have my heart continue beating at 80 plus beats per minute. The number of miracles that had to happen for me to wake up is no small matter. Even if I woke up with a cold and my throat hurting and my voice sounding like this, there's still no small matter for me to be alive and making this video. So because it's no small matter, I pay it back. God didn't wake everybody up today. God didn't give everybody the opportunity to breathe right now into this video camera. So we pay it back by challenging ourselves, saying, how can we be better? How can I honor this life that's in me? All right? So again, this is your boy, Jay Floyd, man. Like I said, I just want to holler at me. So click down there, right about there. Right there. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, man. Or click like on my Facebook group. And be ready for my podcast, Jay Floyd Speaks Life, the podcast, which is coming back for season 2 with some very good guests and some great topics, man. So like I said, I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Also, stay tuned for Code and Radio and everything else I got going on, man. I love y'all. Holla at me, man. Drop some questions or comments or anything you want to talk about right down in there. 1.